Friends Cricket Katha Dugout. Well, this episode is very, very special. Guess, guess about the guest today. Indian captain, administrator, all-rounder, one of the legends of the game. Well, I'm talking about Shubhangi Kulkarni. Shubhangi Kulkarni, she has been an Arjuna awardee in 1985. She was the Indian captain, an all-rounder, a key role in Indian cricket. She was the secretary when the Women's Cricket Board got amalgamated with BCCI. She had her say, her efforts right from the day Indian women's cricket started. And today, she is here talking to us just after the World Cup victory. The last 50 years, what Indian women's cricket had to go through. She's here to talk about all those sacrifices, all those moments, and also about how it felt to lift that World Cup. This episode is truly special, and she will be interviewed by none other than Sonia Dabir.
Hi Shubhudi. It's like 10 days just झालेले आहेत. The most awaited moment all the women cricketers in India has actually seen, experienced. तर फर्स्टली मला तुझे त्याच्याबद्दलचे विचार सांगशील.
मी होते ग्राउंड वरती
Yeah.
आणि आय कॅन नॉट डिस्क्राईब द फिलिंग at that stage. And it was so emotional. I mean, obviously there was excitement, happiness. The last over होईसपर्यंत हरमननी तो कॅच घेईसपर्यंत एवढा एक्साइटमेंट होता. शेवटी ते झालं तेव्हा it's undescribable, you know, what emotions we went through. I'm very happy it has finally happened after waiting for 50 years.
Yeah. So it was like की all the sacrifices, hardships तुमच्या जनरेशन पासून किंवा 50 years पासून स्टार्ट केल्यानंतर आतापर्यंतच्या सगळ्या सॅक्रिफायसेस, हार्डशिप्स म्हणजे आय एम शुअर सगळ्यांना ते आठवले असतील आणि त्यांचं एक रिटर्न गिफ्ट मिळाल्यासारखं होतं.
Actually, our thoughts always go back to, you know, when we started and whatever everybody went through. But finally, it coming to this stage obviously was the happiest, moment. But yes, we did remember all the times when, you know, initially the way people looked at women's cricket and, there were some of them who encouraged, there were some of them who laughed at us. So, but still, I mean, I think the players of that time had the courage to continue playing and, pursue their passion.
Yeah.
So everybody played for the love of the game, and that's where today we see where the game is. It's been a long struggle, at least in the initial years, but to see where it is now and to see what the players are getting and where women's cricket has reached is it gives us a lot of satisfaction.
I'm sure. Now that we've seen the, I will say not upgradation, but the development of overall women's cricket. But I'm sure in this World Cup specifically, many are talking about Indian women's cricket team's fielding. And I will take you back to 2005 or 2003, where many former players at that point of time are talking about your vision about fitness and fielding awareness. So, what was I'll say the thinking behind that process?
Frankly, right since we started playing cricket, so we started playing international cricket in 75. From then onwards, I always felt that our skill levels were as good as all the other teams. You know, so batting, bowling wise, we were very good. What we lacked was fielding and running between the wickets. I would say at that time, fielding maybe was an issue because the kind of grounds that we played on, they were uneven surfaces, and we used to play on matting wickets and rough grounds. So probably it wasn't easy for us to focus on fielding, and actually the focus was more on batting and bowling. But when we started playing international cricket, what we realized is even if our batting was good, the fielding, the opposite team's fielding was so good that our batters weren't scoring as many runs. And when we were bowling, our fielding wasn't good and they were getting more runs. So all the time we would talk about improving on fielding and running between the wickets, meant fitness. So right from the beginning, I knew that this was the area which we needed to focus on. I would keep saying it to many secretaries, but eventually, I don't think anybody focused on that aspect. So I became the secretary of the Women's Cricket Association in 2003.
Yeah.
And the idea then was, I always believed that we were good enough to be world champions.
Yeah.
But couldn't have been, if our fielding and fitness didn't improve. So I think in those 2 years, we made a plan for those 2 years, which was leading up to the World Cup, and we decided to focus on fielding and fitness. And actually, we saw the results, because that was the first time in 2005 that we reached the finals of the World Cup.
I'm sure that vision of yours have helped lot many players in getting awareness about fitness and how to improve the fielding. Now that we are getting compared with England and Australia and New Zealand players. Now recently many social media people are talking about Mandira Bedi, how she helped Women's Cricket Association of India at that time. Can you just give us some idea how you met her, or what all efforts she has taken for the women cricketers?
This is an interesting part, actually, during my tenure. So to begin with, when we started organizing international matches, I thought it would be easy to get sponsors. So in fact, the first series, I had some friends who were into marketing, and they helped us with the sponsorship. After that, even the second series wasn't that much of a problem. But after that, even I ran out of contacts, and then whoever we went to for sponsorship, they started, they were a little reluctant. So I started actually getting concerned. We had planned out for nearly 2 years, we had planned out international matches for nearly 2 years. And if we don't get the kind of funds, I didn't know how we were going to go about doing it. So there was this one series, which was the West Indies team was to come to India. And a few weeks before that, I couldn't find a sponsor. But before that, during the New Zealand match, we were playing a match at the Cricket Club of India in Mumbai. And we were all watching the game. And suddenly I saw everybody looking on the right-hand side, and there was one lady standing there. And when I turned around and looked very closely, that was Mandira Bedi, who had come to watch our match. And she was just standing over there and watching. So one of us went and invited her to the places box, and we started talking. That's when she asked us if we had any issues, and she said, anytime you all need help, I will be there for you all. I remember that just before the West Indies series, and she had actually exchanged her phone number at the time. So I called her up, and we met, and I explained to her, I said, we don't have a sponsor, and if she could help us out, it would be really good for our team. So she said she'll get back to me in a couple of days. And after a couple of days, we went to this company, which was Ask Me Jewelry, and they sponsored the West Indies series. Subsequently, I got to know that Mandira Bedi had done some advertisements for Ask Me Jewelry and asked them to give us the proceeds. So that was a huge help, and she was like God sent at that time.
I'm sure, because that was what was needed for that one little boost. I won't say little, a big boost for women's cricket at that point of time. Let me take you a bit ahead now. After the BCCI merger, you've been in almost every role in women's cricket now. You've been the best administrator. But if I'm right, you've never been a selector. Do you miss that?
Do I miss that? I would have loved to be a selector, but I was so involved in administration. And somehow, if I go back even to my playing days, I remember right from the beginning. So my elder sister also was part of the administration. She was a joint secretary of the Women's Cricket Association of India. And at that time, actually, when we started playing, somebody's brother, somebody's sister, they would all come and help. So my sister was one of the administrators then. Also, during those days, we were not just players. We would also help, collect funds and arrange for grounds, arrange for train tickets and things like that. So I think part of the administrative work I was already used to doing. But I knew at some stage I would get into administration because that was, my interest. So after that, when I stopped playing cricket, then I became the secretary. And then, of course, BCCI, the starting of women's cricket in BCCI happened and, rest of the things. But I enjoyed all that time. So to your question whether I miss being a selector, I would have loved to be the selector, but I really enjoyed my role as an administrator. I used to think that, once I'm past, let's say 60 or 65, that's when I would love to just sit and watch. And maybe that is the time that I'll become a selector. Then now we have an age gap, so I think that's going to happen. But I have no regrets. I think the time that I've spent as an administrator and whatever opportunities I got throughout my administrative career, I think has been very rewarding.
Definitely, we all are seeing the rewards and how you have helped the cricketers and women's cricket in India. And I'm sure there are many girls who till then have played, have come to you for encouragement, support, and guidance. And one of them is me as well. So thank you once again for that. Few words about the upgradation of women's cricket from the year you have started until 2025.
This is very interesting, and I don't know how many players even know what it was like, when we began to where they are now. So it's been a journey of more than 50 years. Initially, I think all of us talk about it. Like when we started playing, we would play. I started playing even our Maharashtra nets used to be in a corner. We started playing at police ground. We would play on cement wickets and rough outfields. And then we traveled by train. A lot of the time it used to be unreserved compartments. We would stay in dormitories and we didn't get any allowances. But at that time, it was like all of us really enjoyed playing. After that, when BCCI took over, things definitely got better in terms of facilities and all. But I think the best for women's cricket happened in the last, let's say, 7 to 8 years after the 2017 World Cup. Before that, in 2005, when we reached the finals of the World Cup, there was a period where Infosys had supported us and, they provided us with very good facilities. So that was one time that I think the girls were provided good facilities. But after BCCI took over, the grounds that they played on, the way they traveled, the places they stayed in was definitely more comfortable. And I'm sure none of the girls who are playing now would even imagine what it was during those times. Today, we find them playing on the grounds that Ranji Trophy matches are held. They stay in anywhere between 3, 4, 5-star hotels. They travel by air. I don't think any of these teams have traveled by train, I think most of them are either traveling by bus or they are traveling by flights. So the kind of arrangements which they have, they can afford better kits with the allowances that they are getting. The Indian team, particularly the elite group, the Indian team is definitely, looked after well in terms of equal match fees. The prize money for most of the tournaments is better. And so I think the girls can now invest in their games. They can go to better gyms. They can hire better trainers and coaches. And all that is definitely helping the game to grow.
Yes, and you being the part of all this journey, I'm sure it feels so proud that you experienced everything, the initial stages and now the 2025 World Cup victory. Just few words about Maharashtra Cricket Association and recently the senior women's team who won the T20 championship. Is there any thing you would say about introduction of WMPL which has helped these girls?
Yes, definitely. The WMPL has helped the girls, and we see that in the results of the T20 interstate competition, where Maharashtra has been the winners. This is probably, the Maharashtra team has made history by winning the tournament for the first time. So, it's very creditable that the Maharashtra Cricket Association organized the Women's Premier League. But before this, I think the last couple of years, before the Maharashtra Premier League, the women played some exhibition matches, and I think it all began from then. But this year, particularly when we had the tournament, the girls got used to playing in front of good crowds and holding their nerve till the last. So that is what we saw now. But before this, when you talked about Maharashtra Cricket Association, I would like to go back to even when we began. So we usually talk about Mr. M.K. Sharma, who has organized women's cricket at the national level. He registered the Women's Cricket Association of India, as well as getting international Women's Cricket Council recognition. But I would also like to say that we have the Maharashtra State Women's Cricket Association in Maharashtra, which during which time they put in a lot of efforts to keep the game going for the first nearly 35 years. So I would give them also a lot of credit for keeping the game going. There was Mrs. Pramila Baitsawan, who was the president. There was Mr. Dilip Chinchore, Narendra Nikam. There was Madhu Taknikar and Suresh Dumke. I know these people have been there for a long time, and I think they have the sacrifices which even they made. So the initial years of the Women's Cricket Association of India, a lot of organizers had to pay from their pockets to keep the game going, and all these people had done. So we talk about M.P. Sharma, who did it at the national level, but even in Maharashtra, I think these people, whatever their contributions are, we should recognize them. So when we talk about the World Cup and reaching up to here, I think my mind goes back to right since when we started, and all the people who kept it going right up to now. So hats off to all of them, and now to the Maharashtra Cricket Association for what they are doing with the girls in terms of preparation for the tournaments.
I'm sure they all are feeling equally proud as you are. There are lot many opportunities now opened up in women's cricket. Like we see all the umpires, women umpires we saw in the Women's World Cup, or there are match referees or video analysis. So I'm sure apart from only playing cricket, there are many girls who are now getting into all these things.
Yes, definitely. I think women's cricket has now become a career option, which probably wasn't the case many years back. So I remember one umpire coming to me and saying that, she met me about 25 years back, and she asked me whether she was doing her engineering at that time, and she had said that I didn't encourage her to that extent to give up her engineering to take up umpiring. But during that time, I didn't imagine that this it would be a career option now, which you're finding a lot of girls taking up umpiring, match refereeing. They're video analysts, they're commentators. So there are many more options now for women cricketers. And let's say if there are some players who have not made it to the national team, they still have an option to get into other aspects of cricket and make it a career. So I'm glad it has now come to this stage.
Just one last question. Now that our girls have won the Women's World Cup, the T20 World Cup is just, I think, 6 months ahead of the recently concluded World Cup. So I'm sure their responsibility is now doubled to be more consistent. But fortunately, we have WPL in between that window. So how this will be helping the Indian players and as well as the foreign players as well?
The WPL started 3 years back, and actually, I think it has helped our domestic players quite a bit, because you see quite a few of the domestic players also participating in playing from different teams. And I feel where we have come now, this winning the World Cup, it's also because the girls have had an opportunity to play in front of big crowds during the WPL. So you see, this time when till we reached the finals, the girls were not nervous or they weren't flustered because they were playing in front of big crowds. So I think WPL has definitely helped us till now. I'm sure the WPL, the upcoming WPL, will help us in the T20 World Cup. Expectations are going to be very high because we won the World Cup now, and people have seen the kind of cricket which our team is capable of playing. So I'm sure the expectations will be a lot, but at the same time, having won now and seeing what it has done to the whole of India, I feel our players will now put in that much more effort and be more determined to win the T20 World Cup.
Thank you, Shubhudi, for giving your time and talking to us right from 50 years back to 2025, sharing your experiences and all the efforts put in by all the players till date. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here, Sonia.